Hey guys, Brutalio here, and this is the best way to level 60 or 70, and I'll tell you why. So we look at time walking dungeons right now. Time walking dungeons is the best way to level for an alt. So you've got 81k XP per time walking dungeon. And we'll have a look and compare that to a regular dungeon. So 81k, and we look at a regular dungeon, 54k. Massive difference. So your usual ways to level are you have to do the storyline quest, world quests, dungeons, regular dungeons, but you see the XP difference between a regular dungeon and time walking dungeon quite significant. And time walking dungeons you can do in like 5 to 10 minutes, way faster to do. So on the first time around, you have to do like the storyline. So I'd recommend if it's your first character leveling, I would do the storyline, and then any alts after that, I would recommend doing time walking. Any character I get that I have to level, I will level through time walking dungeon. So you can also do bonus objectives in between queues if you're queuing up as a DPS. So you get like decent XP for that as well if you wanted to maximize your time while you're waiting in a queue, or you can just queue up in town and sit there and wait for your queues and just bang those out. But you're getting like 9k XP per word quest, and then bonus objective is like 13k. So that's all right. Like if you're queuing up as a DPS and you got time to kill, then you could be doing that as well for bonus XP. But all of the dungeons are super easy to do. 5-10 minutes, boom, clear them. Big chunk of XP. Way better than any other way to level, outside of just paying somebody to boost you or something. Definitely the best way to level. I did the same thing for leveling in Legion 3 Shadowlands. So this one has just ended, and then we've got 2 weeks of nothing, and then I think the next time walking event coming up, yeah, in 2 weeks, that'll be Mr. Panda. So you'll have 2 weeks of nothing, so I wouldn't bother leveling an alt during this time. I would just wait until the time walking's up. So I would just level, if you wanted to level an alt, I would level an alt in this time 1 to 60 and then just leave it at 60, and then 60 to 70 you do time walking, and it's the best way to level. I swear, try it out, trust me, it's the best. So I wanted to highlight a few points of interest in these dungeons. So we'll start off with Vortex Pinnacle, and then we'll work on some of the other dungeons and just highlight some points of interest. So these mobs here, they put a really annoying slowing effect on, so you can see this poison that's slowing me. It keeps stacking up and you go like 70% reduction. So a Dispel Poison or a Freedom would be really good here. This dragon puts a big circle on the ground that AoE heals, so you just move the dragon out of it. Everything else is pretty much manageable. You just pick everything up, group it up, AoE everything dies relatively quick. Skip ahead a little bit. These mobs here, this is towards the end of the dungeon here. These adept mobs, you want to be interrupting or stunning them because they cast a greater heal, and it full heals. So if they're 5% and it goes off, it'll full heal. So that's pretty much the only point that you really want to focus on in this dungeon. Everything else is pretty manageable and easy enough, so just wanted to highlight those. So these Earth Shaper mobs you want to focus on here. Force of Earth they cast, you need to be interrupting or stunning this. If they get this cast off, they turn into a big elemental and they do huge AoE damage. So it's very important with these pulls that you interrupt Force of Earth. Everything else doesn't really matter, you can just AoE him down, just focus on stopping Force of Earth. You stun or interrupt it, and then the rest of the groups are perfectly fine. You AoE it, move on. These pulls here, the only thing there's a couple things actually. So the flayers, they do like a frontal attack, you can just move out of it, no problem, easy enough. These big elemental guys at the back, you'll watch they'll cast a quake ability, and if you jump at the end of the cast, you take no damage. So you'll see quite frequently everyone's taking damage because they're not jumping. So you gotta, that's the only real point with this pull, is you just jump and you avoid like pretty much all of the damage coming in. So all of the damage people are taking is from this quake ability here. So you see the quake cast, it's about to go off, I'm in the air because I've jumped, and you see 3 people there just got hit by it and took a large portion of health. So myself and the healer both didn't take damage from that, so they all need to jump. So that's the only real issue there. And when you come through here, all of these things coming down, I'm pretty sure they're a one-shot ability as well, so obviously you don't get hit by those. This is probably the hardest dungeon I think we did out of all of them. It's easy enough if you're on top of the mechanics and you know like these, what to do for these pulls. So I'm just jumping. The same 3 people getting hit by the quake. They obviously aren't aware of the mechanic. So these pulls here are probably the hardest pulls in all of the Kata time walking dungeons. So these sentry mobs here, the non-elites, you really want to focus these because they run off and aggro more groups. So I've always been on top of that and killing them. Everyone should really be doing it. So I've killed that one. We pulled this group. I'm waiting for the rest of the group to come, and then I'll move on and pull another group. So my group is finally coming here. I kill the sentry here, and then I go to pull these 2 here. See, there's a sentry there that I don't think that I kill quick enough. Usually I'm on top of it with that. I think this pull here, I must have missed it. Yeah, so I obviously missed it here. And you see it running off to that other group there. By the time I've targeted it, it's too late. So you really want to be on top of these sentries because this is the hardest pull I found in any of the dungeons for the Kata. This pull here would have been fine, but because we didn't kill the sentry, it's run off here and it's aggroed this group and it's aggroed both these ogres, I'm pretty sure. And we got another sentry here. So you really got to keep on top of these sentries. This is definitely the hardest pull I found in all of the Kata. So this dungeon isn't too bad as long as you really you interrupt those earth shapers and you jump for quake and you kill these sentries. Then the rest of the dungeon you can kind of just group up and AoE, and it's not really that big of a deal. But those you really have to watch out for. So there's a lot of AoE damage going out. Another sentry I'm trying to kill. But because we've got so many mobs here, I try and battle res the healer, and then I kind of I lay in hands myself. Most of our group is kind of dead at this point, so it's a bit of a, this is a kind of a what not to do situation. Like, this is as bad as it can get, really. So obviously the point is to focus on those sentry mobs there so you don't have that problem. Okay, so for this one here, you've got, I think, 3 or 4 different versions of this dungeon. So you, depending on which one you queue into, if you queue into this one here, I'll just go over this. It's relatively short. You can avoid all of these packs at the start. You can literally just run through like I do here. So you see I just run through, I don't aggro anything. I stand here and wait because usually somebody aggroes something, so I'm just ready to pick up the mobs when they aggro. So boom, somebody's aggroed, I pick them up and we just clear them. You can skip them, so you can just run through and then kill the boss and then run out, and that's like done in like a minute. So it took a little bit longer. We kill this pack. And then we go off and we do the boss. This was definitely one of the best bosses I have done in any dungeon, I think, just because of how fun it is, being able to pop every cooldown you've got, any defensive, any like burst cooldowns or anything, and you can just reset it by clicking that that hourglass in the back corner there. This dungeon I think is quite good. It's relatively easy. It's short. So I enjoyed this one. So there's nothing really to worry about from this first pull except for the boss. So I'll pull everything, we'll just AoE it down. The boss has essentially got one mechanic, so you just do that and it's easy. Okay. So he'll put a chain of woe down, I think it is, and everyone has to kill the chain and then run out, and he does a big AoE. So if you don't run out or kill the chain, then you get pretty much one shot. So he's doing chain of woe now. Everyone has to DPS and kill the chain of woe, then run out. Easy. So you kill the chain and then you run out like this, and then you don't get one shot. And then you've got, it looks like somebody's still in there, and they died. I'm pretty sure they died. I can't see because I'm inspecting somebody. Yeah, so 2 people died to that, it looks like. Oh, it's easy mechanic, just run out, don't die. So I tested this out the hard way and tried to skip as many bosses as I can to get to the end just to get the bonus XP, because you can skip most bosses and just kill the last boss and get the bonus XP because that's all you care about. I tried to skip this boss, but I would not recommend it. It's easier just to kill this boss and then move on, and then you can skip the other 2 after that. So we want to kill this ad here before jumping down, or it's going to aggro everything coming around. So we stand here and wait, we kill it, and then after it dies, we'll jump down. Somebody's pulled the boss, maybe the hunter, I'm not sure. So this boss here is probably the most annoying thing about this dungeon, I think, is people have to stand in front of these laser beam things and get about like 70 to 80 stacks and then move out, wait for your stacks to go down, and then rinse and repeat. But usually I find people don't understand this mechanic, or they just ignore it completely, and I'm the only one doing it. So usually what happens when it goes to 100 stacks is it transforms whoever's got the laser beam on them into one of those big mobs that they pretty much did one shots in Kata, but because it's time walking, the scaling's a bit busted, so it's not quite as powerful as it should be. But it's either way, it's still annoying to deal with. So here I am standing in front of the laser beam to build the stacks up. So this is a stack here on the right. I'm building the stacks up. See, you can see the one at the back, no one's standing in front of. The one in the middle, no one's standing in front of. So as we're fighting, oh, okay, looks like somebody's standing in front of that one. Oh, it's the Rep Pally. The Rep Pally is damaging. These are immune to damage, by the way. They don't. You're not meant to kill them. They take like no damage. So he's wailing on something that doesn't take any damage. So that's funny. You're meant to be killing the boss. So the Rep Pally could be standing in front of this one here in the middle, and then DPSing the boss. And then you can have like a ranged, like a healer or like a ranged DPS, like a hunter or something, standing in front of the back one. Looks, I think maybe the hunter's melee. So probably the healer should have been standing on that back one. So it looks like the hunter's pet has come around. So he didn't dismiss the pet. So now that we're going to get a bunch of mobs, I think. Yeah, so the hunter's pet has aggroed a bunch of mobs from the top. So this gets very messy very quickly. This is the problem with this this boss here, is you get this kind of crap a lot. So it's really a bit of a pain to deal with. See, you've both of these mobs, because of the laser beam, no one was doing it properly. They both turned into that big abomination mob, and it's made the fight even harder than it has to be. So here I am bringing the boss back to this laser beam so I can at least stop one more of them, right? And then we just hopefully AoE them down here. So I'm just popping defensives to try and not die here, and just rounding all the mobs up. And luckily we managed to recover from that, but it went pretty pear-shaped. So that's how to do that fight. That's probably the hardest fight in this whole place, I think. If you don't kill that boss there that we just dealt with, then it does not trigger this Raz guy. So you can clear this bridge without Raz, but it's a lot, because it's all these like big guys. You're not supposed to, like, they're supposed to be like one-shotting you. So it's doable, but it's just a pain in the ass to deal with. So what I'll do is I'll clear that boss, then I'll run up to this bridge here, and I think around this area here, it activates Raz. He'll do a yell emote, and then you can just kill this mob or the trash like at that point, and then just wait for Raz to clear the bridge, and then you can move on. So I go here, I trigger the yell emote, so Raz gets activated, and then I just sit here and kill this while I wait for Raz to clear the bridge, and then we can move on. So if you skip that, if that boss, you don't get this NPC help you clear the bridge, so you have to, it's yeah, pain in the ass. Yeah, so you've got this guy just clearing all these for you. You can ignore him. So you can skip this boss and the next boss now. So I just go left. I just pull this shit. You can skip that, but if it's there, you just pull it. It's not a big deal. Ideally, you don't want both of them, because they do like this big AoE fire thing that like stacks, and it's like it's meant to wipe groups if you're pulling more than one, but because of the scaling, it's doable, but it's just a pain in the ass. So you see everyone's taking a lot of damage from one of them, so if you had two of them, it should be a wipe. These here, they drop a big meteor, so everyone is supposed to stack for these. Not sure if that's a one-shot or not. If you're by yourself and a meteor drops, it should be, because that's the design of it. Not sure with the scaling if you can survive that or not, but that's the mechanic for these Earth Rage mobs. You're supposed to stack. All of this doesn't matter, it's all shit. And then you've got this pool here with the two Earth Rages, so ideally you want everyone to stack and then just AoE it down, and then you're soaking the meteors, hopefully. So you pull all this crap. You want everyone to be like stacked together here for the meteors, because you can just stack and AoE that all down. Meteor, yeah, healer's dead. So yeah, you definitely want to stack, because it's shared damage. So this is one of the other options for this dungeon. I forgot what it's called. It's like one of the end time, I think it's called. These mobs do a lot of damage. You can skip them. You can actually just run past and skip them, but people usually aggro them, so I went, fuck it, I'll just pull them. I don't have very good DPS in this. Like, at the moment, it's only me. Nobody else is, we've got no DPS killing these. They're still running here. So these kind of do a lot of damage. So you can see I'm getting absolutely deleted here. They have like stacking debuffs and everything too, and then they rage. Like I'm just getting absolutely mauled here. So you're not really meant to be pulling 2 packs of these. It's okay if you've got the DPS and you can just like AoE them down because of the scaling, but yeah, ideally I wouldn't be pulling these unless you've got good DPS to just kill them. See, I'm constantly going like to 5% full health, 5% full health. So I had to kite a bit here. I still am lacking some serious inches with the DPS. They're not pumping as hard as I would like for these pulls, but we managed to get them down. I'm getting closer to the boss now, so we pull the boss. This boss pretty much has one mechanic that you have to worry about. Boss will go to the middle and become immune. There, here it is, immune to everything. And then it spawns all these ghouls around, so this is easy enough. Everyone should be targeting this same ghoul and DPS it down so they can make that gap and then get out for one shot. So we kind of fail this because we're lacking the damage. We had a DPS die. We've got people running around hitting just everything. Like they're not targeting the same thing, so it's a complete mess. I realized that like everyone's going to get one shot, so as they get closer, I just bubble. So I pop bubble here. Everyone dies. You don't want to be standing in this thing, so if you get stunned in that, it's pretty bad, but that's pretty much it for these mobs. They don't really do fuck all. You can just group them up and AoE them. This boss doesn't really do anything. You can just don't stand in shit. It's easy enough. I think you have to kill all the bosses in this one, unfortunately. You can't just skip to the end, because I think you have to kill all the bosses to unlock those like tornado things that shoot you up to the last boss. This boss does basically nothing as well, easy to deal with. This whole dungeon is pretty easy. There's nothing really to worry about for this one. Okay, this one here. To speed this up, you want to run straight through this hallway to the elevator. If you get there quick enough, the elevator will be there and you can just get taken up straight away. If you're a little bit late, then you're gonna have to wait for the elevator to come all the way back down and up. So you just run past all this crap, you run straight to the elevator. You don't even need to kill this crap, it'll reset. If you get to the elevator, you want to have everyone get to the elevator, so you can see it right there, a purple jellyfish. If you're just rushing to that, as soon as the elevator goes up, like all those mobs will like reset. So that's your goal. You just run straight to the elevator. Boom, you're here. You can clear those mobs later, like after these bosses, but that's your goal when this starts. You just run straight to the elevator. Clear all this crap. This is like, don't have to worry about any of this. Just AoE it all up. This boss is easy as well. I wouldn't worry about it. This guy does like one thing where he punches the ground. Well, he does two things. He punches the ground, so when he starts casting it, you just move out of the way. Alright, so we'll go over the two things that this guy does. He does squeeze, so he's casting that now, so he'll target a player and like do squeeze. So this doesn't really do fuck all, it looks like. It's not doing anything. Yeah, don't worry about that. And then he punches the floor as well, which you can just move out of, so that one's pretty easy as well. So after those two face roll bosses, then you come back down to the start and you just AoE all this crap down. This is all like crap, it doesn't matter as well. These sentries put they get a buff that's like a magic that increases damage done or something. You can like dispel it or mass dispel, but it doesn't really matter. They're pretty like easy to kill, like they just flop over. So alright, and then last boss, you can basically just AFK this far. Like after you kill all the trash ads, then it's you get to this part and you pop your cooldowns and kill it. Like it's this whole dungeon is like really easy to do. Yeah, pretty much all of them are like super quick. The hardest one was probably the Stonecore, but if you are on top of all the mechanics, then it's pretty easy to do. So this is the correct way to do this Sylvanas fight. You don't stand and shit. You don't die to nothing. Oh wow, we have the DPS to just kill it before it even becomes immune. Okay, well you can just do that. This one takes a little bit of time. It's not difficult or anything. You just run to each light point here and then AoE the mobs down and then move to the next one. It's not hard at all, it's just annoying. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed this and would like to see more content like this, like, comment and subscribe. I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/Brutalio. I can do another video similar to this for the next time walking dungeons and go over some mechanics to look out for or avoid to make your leveling journey easier. Good luck on your leveling, catch you next time.